What We Do in the Shadows wrapped up its third season in a fairly dramatic way, I would say. The last two episodes kind of had me on the edge of my seat, seeing where things were going to end up. And, um, when we reviewed the first episode, our take was this is the funniest show on television, bar none. I think that's not counting things like I Think You Should Leave, which is a sketch comedy, kind of niche comedy thing. Rabid fan base, though. Does that take that this is the funniest show on TV stand for you after this season, Dave?
Of course. That's probably the point we don't have to hammer home too long. Is the show is really, really funny, and it remains so. And this show needs to be nominated for Emmys next year. We've ignored the first two seasons. Yeah, well, it should be winning, of course, but it needs to start getting recognized. I think that's getting a little blasphemous at this point. But yeah, I mean, there's so many funny moments constantly. And as you said, the show, I think, took a lot of dramatic steps forward at the end of its season and showed a lot of growth, I think, quite impressively at the end from a narrative perspective. But the comedy is still top notch.
Oh, absolutely. I agree as well. It's really starting to approach like Parks and Rec type territory for me, and I think we'll talk about it in a second where the shows we think it might be going after this season. But I think as this show goes on, as it just kind of builds out this world, I could see it really getting up into that stratosphere, which is pretty exciting to be watching from such an early time. Why don't we go through some of the episodes that we liked the most this season? Any that jump out to you right away?
Yeah, I think early on the casino episode's really funny. Yeah. Also, just another great premise, great idea to have vampires in the modern day experience human culture that they don't understand. Of course, having them go to a casino would be fireworks. It was so fucking funny. I love the episode about the sire, like the big like ghoul with the wings, and how they they have to bring the Baron back, dig him out of the yard who they killed in a past season. I thought the Baron's like whole return was so funny.
Like, and then he's just chilling.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Good.
It's and then I think some of the best quotes of the year I think are from Matt Berry, Laszlo. It's like the sire. No, that's a fucking myth. Like ghosts and large penises. Like once in a while, they'll just drop a one-liner that just has you dying. I love with the Baron when they're trying to catch the sire in like the Walmart or whatever. The Baron's in like a little kid's electric car. He's like, "I'm controlling this with my mind." And then the guide holds up the remote control at them and just like shakes our head.
So good.
So much like really simple humor, but it always makes me laugh. I think I noticed a lot of I don't want to say toilet humor, but a lot of like jokes about like farting and like the bathroom. I guess it is toilet humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
A ton of dick jokes. Like Laszlo was so sexual this season, and he always like he wants to was it suck blood and fuck forever, whatever the quote was from the beginning of the season. But it seems like they truly doubled down on that being Laz.
It was interesting though, because Laszlo, such a sarcastic character, and just really like drops those like very straight delivery one-liners, got to kind of play both sides this season and show a lot of heart towards Nandor and towards Colin Robinson near the end of the season, which I thought was a good choice because while the show is really funny, I think for it to have a long run, you really have to have these characters like caring about each other in some way, and they obviously do, but you don't get a lot of those like moments of them actually like expressing that.
Right. And that was kind of the whole point, that they didn't ever say they cared about anything.
Right. And, Nandor kind of mentions that in the second to last episode when he's like, "Have me be the last one out of the house? Fuck that." He's like, "I got to get out of this house before they decide to leave," because these houses never last, apparently. But I thought that was really nice, a nice choice to kind of bring some heart into the show. And yeah, so I just want to say quick, I really loved the casino episode, probably my favorite of the season. But I also really liked the wellness center one where Nandor gives up being a vampire and he goes to this wellness center where they reject being a vampire and they
Yep.
pull out their fangs every day. I love the scene when she's like, "Look at me drink water," and then she like walks out into the hallway and you see her just like throwing it up like immediately. I just thought that was funny. And then obviously you get a great Guillermo moment when he goes to like save him and fights his way through. Also some great filming, like panning over to like the big mirror and seeing him just
Mm.
like fighting nobody in the mirror was just like I thought a really nice choice. And you see like the wall break. I was like, oh, this is like high level
Yeah,
stuff right here. It's pretty good.
especially for TV.
Yeah, for real. So the last two episodes, Nandor is depressed. He's had a tough season, couple of heartbreaks.
Mm.
Obviously with Gale becoming a werewolf vampire who doesn't really want to be with him. It's a tough break. Um, and he's like ready to like move on. And then we get the death of Colin Robinson. Spoiler if you haven't watched this, I hope that you watch this show before you get to this. You get the death of Colin Robinson at the end
Yeah.
of episode 9. You're just kind of like, man, where's the show gonna go? Obviously, we get baby Colin Robinson at the very end of the season after the gang has all gone a different direction. Nandor to go travel the world. Guillermo is in a coffin that Laszlo put him in. I think to go be with Nadia over
Yes, in
Europe.
England.
So I think the show's going in a lot of different directions now, which is pretty interesting. What do you think of that choice?
Yeah, well, I think like the key thing with that is that, like as you said, Laszlo is demonstrating some growth personally, realizing he can't abandon Colin and he has to stay there. And I thought it was really tactfully done how they kind of teased throughout the season about how we're trying to learn more about the origins of energy vampires, which none of them really know anything about, including Colin. And then at the end, it's like, oh, they learned, or at least Laszlo learned that he will die soon. It's like, oh wow, I did not see that coming as like the big reveal. But it took
Yep.
a lot of balls for the show to change. Like it takes a lot, I think, for comedies to like try and break the mold in a certain sense, even if like the core, aspects of the show we assume will stay the same. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited for where the show's going to go with all of them actually separated. And you have to imagine for a decent amount of time given where they all are. And I honestly was like, I feel like the Colin death really hits, because you love Colin Robinson. He's an amazing character.
Yeah, Colin Robinson had some great moments. I love in the casino episode when he's at the I think it's like what is it, blackjack table, and he's like taking so long to decide. And he's like, "So what do you guys think?"
Which
about
is my right.
So good. Another really funny moment from the season when Nandor is in his eternal sleep, or whatever they called it, and
yep.
Everybody wants to come in and see if he's as well endowed as the rumors are, and they're like, it's not that big, and he has to like hear all this while like faking being asleep. Oh man, so good.
I thought Colin had a really funny quote about the Nextdoor app being an orgy of racism.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, I just to circle back, I really do like the choice to split things up. I think there's a lot of potential to like pull in some themes and just some commentary on vampires, who are from Europe, and vampires who are from America, and just all of like the meta commentary around that. I think Nandor traveling is just like such a good choice because he's just so oblivious and such an idiot that it's going to work really well. And Nadia, I think, on the High Council will be really funny. So a lot of good stuff. Baby Colin Robinson, I think, will be a great choice as well. So babies are already energy suckers. So then add a baby Colin Robinson. Oh man,
wow,
it'd be tough.
Didn't think of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not watching In the Shadows and you like comedy at all, you have to watch What We Do in the Shadows. So tune into it. Any last thoughts, Dave?
I saw one other quote I really liked from the beginning of the season when Laszlo and Colin were looking for like the secret door in the library or whatever. And from across the room, Laszlo is like, that book is the Bone Brigade. That never came out in hardback, which means it's a fake. Like there's all these like references to how he is like the most like sexually advanced and experienced person ever. It's a great bit to keep going.